Okay, that's my fertilizer. Hey, Jasper, come on. Come on, come on. Yes, you big baby. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Wow. Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Maya Simply Bloom. My turkey just said hello to you as well. I am currently in my horse pasture. When we first moved back into this house, for a little backstory for those of you who don't know, this is my husband's house. When we got married, he already owned this property. Shortly after we got married, we rented this house out, moved to Montana for 5 years. Now we are back here. When we first moved back, we did not have horses. So in the horse pasture, I planted, there's over 200 strawberries. There's a 50-foot row, I think a 50-foot row of rhubarb and 100 feet of asparagus. I've kind of given up on the asparagus. I just didn't like the variety that it was. It was very tough. Even when I harvested it as young, supposedly tender shoots, it was very stringy. So I'm letting that go. Strawberries, I think I'm just going to let those go as well. But I want to move the rhubarb. It's just starting to come up. We now have horses again. And horses can't have rhubarb leaves. As you know, rhubarb leaves are toxic to most things. Typically they stay away from them, but I just want to move them just to be on the safe side, and they are just starting to break dormancy. So here they are. Horses have been keeping them fertilized. It starts there right at her feet, and it goes along this whole row. There's another one. I thought there was another one somewhere around there. I don't know, maybe not right there. Right there, there, you know, it goes all the way down. So we're just going to, they're massive hunks too, and I'm not sure the variety. When we first moved back, someone was advertising their fencing. I wanted to do a fence around my garden. So they said, come take down the fence, free, you can have it. And then they also threw in all the rhubarb plants as well. So I separated and divided them, planted them out here, and they have thrived and they've been loving life, but it's just time to move them. So anyways, I don't know the variety. Honestly, out of all the rhubarb I've had, it's not my favorite variety. I prefer the ones that get like really deep red stalks. This one stays almost all the way green, just a tiny bit of blush red. So it's not as sweet as other rhubarb that I have, but it's fine in like rhubarb crisp and pies and stuff like that. So we're just going to begin with digging them up. I'm going to throw it into the trailer, which she's currently eating out of. Her hay's in there. So I'm going to move the hay and we will begin. Hey, girlie. All right, feed moved, secured, she's eating. Let's get started. You can see how long this row is. I just want to step it off real fast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 times 3. About 40 feet. 40-foot row. Okay. I swear I know how to do math. For some reason, my brain's just not mathing. And right back here, I don't know if you can see me in the camera, this is where the strawberries were planted. Turns out horses really love strawberry plants, so I don't know if there's much left. I doubt I will get these up all in one hunk. So we will probably be cutting them into smaller pieces and dividing them. All right, I have my doubts that I can get this whole thing in. really cool. The root system on rhubarb almost reminds me of like tubers. Look at this. It's crazy. In we go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. I can't get that. I can't get that. So smaller hunks. Jasper, no, not right now. All right. Oh my word. See that root? Wow. One clump done, several to go. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, I got everything dug up. It's in the trailer. I kind of just piled it all on top of each other. Took a little break for lunch, and boy, am I tired. Like, after having all winter off, I feel so weak. So I'm really excited for this garden season to just like whip me back into shape and get strong and just healthy again. I have some help. He's keeping me company. We are going to do our best at transplanting these rhubarb. So this is what we're looking at. Excuse the tote there. I use totes for like deadheading things. So I have a tote there, a tote there. I just have a tote pretty much by every single garden bed right now as I'm doing spring cleanup, deadheading, weeding, all that stuff. So that's why that's there. Here's the rhubarb. You can see, look at this root system. Like I said, it's kind of like a big tuber. That's crazy. Super thick, big. It's like a potato. I wonder if the roots are edible. Totally curious on that. You can see how I split it in half with the shovel. I am going to go and just place these clumps all along here. I have a cottage garden here started. This is my cut flower garden and back there. I'm hoping in the next week or so I can start prepping the soil. I have a bunch of sheep compost I'm going to be laying down and just getting it ready. Last frost date is around May 15th, so that's probably about when I'll start planting out my things into my flower garden. But we have 6 hydrangea standards. Please excuse this. I just went through and pruned them. They all look really good except for this one. This is the very first one that I did. I don't know what I was thinking. I cut it back hard. I cut it back so hard. My husband saw it and he's like, "What did you do?" Don't worry, I'm pretty sure it will survive. And also, I want to dig this one up anyways. When I was planting these, I was following the curvature of the driveway, and the driveway curves in. You can't really see it from this angle, but it does curve in, and I was putting everything the same distance away from the edge of the driveway. So these all look like they're fairly in a line, the other 5, and then this one just juts this way. It's because I was following the curvature of the driveway. So I'm going to, maybe I should do that soon, transplant it and bump it up a couple feet. That's the plan. Anyways, behind the hydrangea standards, like 3 to 4 feet in, I want to put probably 3 feet, a good step. I want to put a row of rhubarb all along the driveway. And then you can see the mulch ends there. This year I'm going to be continuing and including the rhubarb and hydrangea standards into the mulch. So I'm going to be bringing the mulch back to probably there, that line. So I am cutting out a big portion. It's like 6 feet of flower garden that I am cutting out, but that's okay. I still have quite a bit, and I have one other garden that's this big as well. So I have plenty of space. I'm gonna spread everything else first, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do. All right, so here's my line. This is like the best line I've ever done, and it's still not quite perfect, but once they grow and fill in, it will be completely fine. I'm gonna be planting it with some of this Biotone starter fertilizer from Espoma. This stuff is incredible. I used it for the first time last year, and I planted some things with it and some things without it. And let me just tell you, the things that I used were far better than the ones that I didn't use it on. They didn't wilt as fast. During the heat of the summer, they didn't need as much water. And I know every plant species is different, but I was just blown away by the plant performance on the plants that I use this with versus the plants that I didn't use this with. So I am now a firm believer of the Biotone Espoma fertilizer. So I'm gonna begin with digging a hole, and then I'll show you the next step. Luckily, these are all pretty shallow rooted, so I don't have to dig a real deep hole. I'm gonna plant my rhubarb. And I hit a rock. All right, so once my hole is dug, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of this in. Place my rhubarb. And just backfill it in with soil. Okay, overall, very easy process. You just have to repeat that several more times. Rhubarb definitely kind of got trampled from my dog. he loved kind of helping me dig the holes and the biotone that I put in. And then my kids, you know, they're hard to see. They're just coming up now. So things definitely got stepped on, but I think it will be fine. I think these will take off very soon. It's going to be in the mid to high 50s the rest of the week. So I am so excited to see these things get going. And then I talked about as hydrangea standard. I think that's going to be the next project. I am going to bump that forward, actually kind of right where that coffee can lid is. Not sure what that's doing there, but it's a good marker. Maybe a little bit more, like right there. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Now is the time to transplant things. Or the rule of thumb is if it blooms summer to fall, transplant it in the spring. If it blooms early spring, transplant it in the fall. So for example, like lungwort, that is an early spring bloomer. So I would transplant that in the fall. That's just kind of the rule of thumb. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.